Our next speaker, I am delighted to introduce. He is fäde zu grau, and you folks who know him from Project I can't say it, Runway. I need coffee too. Project Runway, know that he is fierce and fabulous, and you can bid on 2 original creations over in the registration area, awesome atheist outfits that he has put together with all of his talent, all of his style, and look at the panache. Awesome. He is a star, people. He is a star, and I am honored and delighted in a little bit. Is my outfit okay? Do I look the part for you?
We'll talk later.
We'll talk later. Yes, I will get my notepad, and I need to learn from you. I'll make it work. I'll make it work. I'll do my best. Oh, thank you. Thank you, fäde. And the mic, the audience is yours, my dear.
Okay. Thank you very much. Hello. Hello. Okay, I just try not to mispronounce half of what I'm saying. My husband, John, he still makes fun of me. After 15 years, say oh. He cannot say a single German word and he still makes fun of me. Okay, so when I was asked to speak here, I was actually thrilled because if I speak at home, I have to build in little questions to see if he still listens. What city did I just mention? Or something completely off topic, like then we painted mustaches on each other. What? Okay. So as we all know, thinking is the enemy of superstition. And I would like to give you a little insight in my life and my way of thinking, or my way of thinking. So the double F in the program is not a typo. As Robert Ingersoll said, and we probably all know, superstition is, always has been, and forever will be the foe of progress, the enemy of education, and the assassin of freedom. Ooh, okay. And that really sums it up for me, and I think the hope for extinguishing superstition lays in the education of children. This is weird here. I thought I would have more space, but okay. And so I think it's really important that children and young people see us out there. And for me, little things count, like just wearing my atheist t-shirt or atheist necklace. Do I have it? No, I forgot it today. What a surprise. And I received a huge response wearing those 2 things on Project Runway, and those are the 2 things that are requested, like people want to order the most. So. The other day, I was at the grocery store, and of course wearing one of my atheist t-shirts, very simple, white, just the word printed on it. And when I was about to pay, the cashier, she was like 19 or 20, she pointed at my shirt and said, what does that mean? And I was like, oh, how cool, she asked, so I can like educate her and tell her all about it. So I was just about to explain it, and I looked down and I see the word is backwards. So I had the t-shirt on inside out. It was a really plain white t-shirt, but the print still showed through. So I was just so shocked. I just said, it means atheist, and I grabbed my stuff and went. But usually I'm wearing my clothes correctly, and lots of people do come up to me to speak to whatever I have on there. It's not just atheists, there are all kinds of sayings. I like to put many things out there. And so I think it's very important that we are seen, especially as atheists, and to make other people think about things they otherwise would not think about. This past Thanksgiving, we went to John's brother's family in the Keys. And it was a very laid-back situation, and they have lots of friends over, and when we were about to eat, one of them said, let's hold hands and say a prayer. we have gone there for years and that never happened before, so, and I said out loud, oh no. Especially, I was sitting there with my atheist necklace and everything, so of course I refused to participate, and next to me sat their daughter, and she's like around 15, and she goes like, oh, how cool, so you don't have to do it? And I said, no, you don't. So we were sitting there just giggling while everybody else is mumbling their stuff. And I thought, what an important moment that was, because she will remember that, and the next time something like this comes up, she will just might refuse herself to go along with some mindless traditions. So there are many ways, I find many ways to get the word out. I use any opportunity. I write 2 newspapers regarding ridiculous stuff they sometimes publish. And yeah, come on, we need a few breaks here. The Miami Herald printed my atheist views several times in its opinion section, yes. I have it on my website. I have a huge sticker on the back of my car that reads, Happy Atheist. And I actually just added a Spanish version to the front of the car because in South Florida, nobody speaks English anymore. It's all Spanish, and the Hispanic population is still so religious, and I really would like to reach them too. So, no slash tires. Lots of people think, burned car, nothing. Reactions were always positive, and I had even notes sticking under my windshield wipers, how much people liked the stickers. And the other day I was at a gas station, and the guy behind me gets out of his car with his little son, and he comes over to me and gives me a high five and says like, yeah, who says real men love Jesus? So I thought that was remarkable, and especially this little, like he was 8 years old, maybe the son, he witnessed it. I thought it was, that's what it's all about. I also have stickers, Happy Atheist stickers on my bike. One side English, the other side Spanish. And I was standing on a red light with it, and a guy 2 lanes over, he opens his window and screams over, hey man, I'm an atheist too. And when was the last time he screamed that out loud, or even just said it out loud? That's so important. So I never had any negative reactions. I had a couple of weird things maybe. Like on Twitter, somebody asked me, why do I attack Christianity by wearing my atheist stuff on Project Runway? Right. Attack. She used the word attack. I lost a Facebook friend to a post that was regarded anti-religious while gaining hundreds of others. Another person said, believers want to show that they believe with wearing crosses, and why do I have to counter that? If I don't believe, why do I have to counter? And I said to provide another point of view and to make people think. Wearing crosses and have this fish symbol on the back of the car is just okay, but I like to challenge this blind acceptance. I was also asked on Facebook in a conversation about prayer, what's so wrong to pray for somebody in a hospital with cancer or something. And besides the obvious that these people go to a hospital with doctors and medications, getting real help that none of their gods can provide, her point was it can't hurt. It can't hurt to pray. But I do think it does hurt. So she said it doesn't hurt, but I think it hurts to pray because if a child, for example, witnessed somebody with the disease, deteriorating by the disease, it might want to become a doctor later in life, but it's not going to happen if everybody around it just prays, stuff like this. Or imagine everybody would invest their praying time to volunteer at a cancer center, to find cures or to organize a fundraiser or something to do something. It wouldn't help that particular person right there and then at the hospital, but the human race in the long run. So I do think prayer hurts. Okay. So how do I even know what I'm talking about when it comes to religion? Because I heard people say, he grew up in East Germany, no wonder he's an atheist. But there were churches in East Germany, and there was religion, and the government didn't favor it particularly, but it was also not forbidden. And we all got caught up in Christmas and Easter and eggs and trees and all this, just not for the religious meaning of it, but still. And I actually went to church there on my own. My parents are not religious, so they never pushed me in any way. So when I was like 15, 16, I went to this Catholic church. And they had a nice place for young people to meet, so that was their draw. And there was no requirement to sit through any of the ceremonies, which was pretty clever because there wasn't a requirement. We ended up sitting through it voluntarily, so pretty clever on their side. Two hilarious results, actually. We couldn't keep straight faces when they came around and gave us these oblates to eat, the body of Christ. It was just way too hilarious to think that some people really believe this stuff. I guess they just tolerated us because they were thinking we will get caught up in this whole thing eventually. So the biggest draw actually to go to this church was their connection to West Germany. And I was totally fascinated with West Germany and everything that came from there. Every little soap package and coffee container, I was like studying. I was obsessed with it. And once a year, a West German group came to our church, a West German church group. And they brought all this stuff that was hardly available in the East, like gum and coffee and orange juice and all this stuff. And we were having all this fabulous stuff while listening to their talks about Jesus and heaven. And they also gave out religious literature and religious music. And we played those cassettes forever. They were from West Germany. And they were really well made, actually. They weren't like the typical choir stuff. It was like pop. It was really like they knew what they're doing. And music in general in East Germany was kind of the only connection to the outside world. And so we were listening to West German radio stations and black market records bought for ridiculous amounts of money. And so I was exposed to religion early on in life. Actually, I exposed myself in both sides of the divided country. I escaped from East to West Germany, and that was still before the wall came down, with 2 friends, which was a huge adventure. It stretched over several days and 3 countries, and we walked and we hitchhiked and we used trains and buses. We even flew to Hungary. And we finally got to West Germany. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning, and we were on one of those refugee trains to some refugee camp. And it was like the train did not stop. It only slowed down through some of the train stations. And on some of those train stations were people throwing food into our train. And some of these people were nuns. They had their black and white uniform. And so wherever there was an open window, they threw in like meal bars and little orange cartons. And that was my first encounter with religion in the West. And to this day, I'm really impressed by it. I thought that was like a remarkable gesture, actually, those people had to get up in the middle of the night or go to some train station and wait for a train that doesn't even stop just to show us that they care. So it was really impressive. And it was around that time that I picked up prayer, which I never did before, but I'm not sure if it was really linked to the train thing but I think it was influenced by it to some degree. So I was laying at night in bed and I was mumbling all this stuff, still thinking how silly and ridiculous this actually is, but also that if I don't do this right now, something bad actually will happen. So it is a powerful force, and it did take me quite some time to shake it, but I eventually stopped, which is probably much easier in a surrounding like Germany and Europe in general, where half of the population is not even religiously affiliated anymore. Very contrary to America. When I came here in 1998, there were crosses everywhere and there were churches on every corner, and the president ends his speeches with "God bless" something. Totally, that would never happen in Germany. So it took just a couple more years until I was a complete atheist and done with everything. It was actually really here. And here was also where I finally stopped saying those useless phrases like "thank God" and "God knows." And now if I hear this, "thank God, God knows," I ask, which one? And oh, it's just an expression. It's just an expression. We don't, nobody really means what they say, I guess. And if it's just an expression, you might as well just cut it out. I call it word pollution. And you will also never hear me saying words like limbo or demons. And I prefer to refer to Christmas as December 25th, like, yeah, the coffee. Somebody got coffee here, right? After she said that. So we're almost waking up again. Okay, so the other day, John and I were talking, and he said, "Oh, I'm just playing devil's advocate." No role play in our household, no religious role play. And very important to me is also to say a God. Yeah, I see some people are on that. Without the prefix a, you kind of acknowledge that such a thing as God actually exists, I think. And then also, by saying a God, you remind people that humans did not just made up one, but many gods. So it's just that nobody believes in most of them right now. So a God. And it actually takes some effort and time to cut out all this stuff and also adjust old models like AD and BC. BC should be before Common Era instead of before Christ. And AD should be Common Era, stuff like this. Language is full of this old stuff as well. Sunrise, sunset, those words are just incorrect. The sun is not doing anything. So those words stem from a time when people were not educated about the cosmos. And it's us. We are flying around the sun at 67,000 miles an hour right now. And while the sun is not doing anything. It's Earth's rotation towards and away from the sun that makes the sun appear to move. So if stuff like this would be adjusted, the next generation would get like even little stuff like this. The next generation gets like a much more clearer model of the world and cosmos around them. And some say that I take everything too literally, and that's a word I just can't say, literally. Was good? Okay. So, literally, but just imagine all this language fluff and all this word pollution would be gone. Word pollution like, oh my God, pang, gone. What a fresh breath of air that would be for humankind. The whole race taking a huge breath of fresh air collectively, delivering vital oxygen to the brain to make it think. And there you have it, my little insight into my way of thinking.
Okay, friends, so we are going to take very, very super fast questions so that we can still have a little bit of a break, and you'll be around.
Maybe nobody wants to hear anything.
Oh,
Watch
well,
it.
let us
Any
see.
hands? No.
Okay, well, oh,
Hey.
okay. All right. Both of the mics are here.
Were there any Jesus freaks on Project Runway when you were on there?
Shakira was wearing huge 4-inch size crosses on her ears one time, but I don't consider her a Jesus freak. No. Is there any media here? No Jesus freaks. No Jesus freaks. We're all friends. We love each other.
Related to something that you said near the end, like even as an atheist, I find myself using terms like "oh my God" or like "Jesus Christ" as like expressions of shock or sometimes disgust at certain things. Do you really think that someday terms like those might be out of use? And if so, like what do you think might replace them?
I'm not sure if I understood it acoustically.
Okay, for those who say, "Oh my God" or
Yeah.
"Jesus Christ,"
I
do
heard
you
that
think
here.
that will? Yeah. So you've heard that here at the Atheist Conference.
And that's why I'm saying, like, it takes some effort to take this out, but you have to make an effort. It took me, like, I'm a very disciplined person, and like, it took me exactly half a year to get rid of these things. It takes a while. You have to really know what you're talking about. And I also think, like, if somebody says, "Oh, God knows," and all this stuff, if you don't censor yourself and don't even know what you're giving out of yourself, it's not good. I don't know, it's not good. But it takes a while, and you have to actually notice it yourself. Like, I'm pointing it out to a neighbor every 5 seconds. He's a big atheist, and he said, "Yeah, I know," and he goes like, "Jesus Christ," and "Jesus Christ," and it's like 3 minutes later, and I keep on still saying, "Which one?" It takes an effort, but also for me, some people might be pissed off about it, but I'd still ask which one. Even at the 600th time, I just quietly ask which one. And I have people actually adjusting to it too.
Good. Okay. Where is the mic? We're going to use the mic. Okay. All right.
I live in Indiana right now,
Were you at the university? when I was there?
Evansville. I have a question for you, your perspective. A friend that I went to high school with lives about 20 miles south of Munich now. He gave up his U.S. citizenship to take German citizenship and sent me a message wanting to know, would I like to move to Germany? As far as your perspective on what's going on here, you know,
Sorry.
what do you think of Germany?
Should she who lives in Indiana take the opportunity
to go to Germany.
to move near Munich, Germany?
Yeah,
Tomorrow, please.
tomorrow. All right, thank you.
Everybody, I'm telling you, the best thing that ever happened to me is that I'm making like jumps like every 10 years. And I jumped at 19 from East Germany, then 10 years later to America. And I now see my German friends who don't jump getting like they're washing their cars on the weekend and they're cleaning their windows all the time. And like, they're my age, and I thought, it's so sad. And I tell them all the time, go a year out of the country. You really open tomorrow. You book your flight right now.
Okay, I'm going to piggyback on that. My son is half black and half Jewish. Should we go to Germany? I'm concerned.
With me?
With you?
Yes, please. It will be a fabulous trip.
He is part Austrian.
So there we go.
I love you.
Okay.
Very last question, and then we have a short break.
Hi. What do we say instead of "Oh my God"? What do you say
Instead of,
"Oh my God"?
I just don't say anything. There's nothing to say. I'm very, maybe I'm too German, but there's nothing to say. There's no word pollution that you have to answer where you take word pollution out. No.
Okay.
Pollution
Take
is
it out.
pollution.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you?
You're beautiful. Thank you.